All right, welcome back to another episode of the Expert Style Lounge. We are back this week with a new topic and style with purpose, building a sustainable yet sharp, no pun
No
intended,
pun intended.
wardrobe. Oh, I love it. So, welcome back, ladies. Excited to be back here with you.
Yes.
And
So excited.
this is a great topic. So,
Needed for
Amanda,
now.
you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So, like I just said, so needed for now. And I feel that with all of everything that's coming out in the news and, again, controversial, some of you might believe, some of you might not believe. And we're just going to throw out a few facts of, we need to be more sustainable. Like there's plastic everywhere. Like I try not to buy so much plastic, and I don't know about everybody else, but it's really hard to not buy so much plastic. And like there may be maybe not plastic in our brains, just kind of worrying. I don't.
So, do you take your own bags to
I do.
grocery store?
I do. Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. I do.
Mhm.
I try to,
Not quite
practice
there
what I
yet.
preach.
But I'm aspirational. Yeah.
Yes.
I do
So,
it
yeah.
too. We get charged here. I don't know about you,
Oh.
Courtney, but here in New York, they do.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not a big enough charge that people aren't going to do it, but they do
Yep.
charge you for them giving you the bags. So that's like one way that New York City is trying to help with
Mhm.
less plastic. So what I would say most of the time when I go to the grocery store, people do bring their own bags.
Yep.
We do it,
Yeah.
but sometimes you
And
might
plus, like,
forget.
I feel like
But-
you can put more in it. They're more durable and
Right.
like
True.
heavier stuff. Like you don't need a
Right.
trillion bags. So yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah.
definitely, like it and just helping in general and
Mhm.
not to start this LinkedIn Live off this YouTube video with a downer, but talking about, like clothing in landfills. So much of our clothing is made out of plastic or polyurethane and oil, which is never going to degrade, which is just, horrible. And that so much of it, goes into the oceans. And I was watching a show and I feel horrible. I'm not sure where it was, and I'm not going to speculate because if I say the name and it's wrong, that I don't want to give it bad connotations. But seeing literally mountains of clothing washing up on a shore, like there was no beach. There was just mountains of clothing. And it's to know that we three love fashion. We love talking about style. We love talking about clothing, accessories, fashion. But I feel that the fast fashion industry needs to just calm down. Like we need to get more curated closets, more investment pieces, thinking about sustainability, thinking about, taking care of the clothing that we have and
Less
not
is more.
buying so much fast fashion because it doesn't really wash well. And then it just continues the cycle if you do literally have to buy more of it. So, thinking about that because again, I have a few bits over here, but 92 million tons of textile waste. And that is just horrible. And then we can also go on the offshoot of fashion shows, the dead stock that they may or may not, the big, huge fashion houses, their dead stock, AKA the fabric that is utilized for that show and then technically can never be used again. They might purposely destroy it, or it's such a small quantity, not much can be done with it. Like that has to, change. And then the US, unfortunately, and this is just a statistic, this isn't politically skewed whatsoever, just a stat. US alone sends 11.3 million tons of textile waste away, and it takes 200 plus years to even start to possibly decompose. And I didn't mean to get into the eco-friendly ecosystem TED Talk, but
I'm glad that you did
it's
that.
I love the idea of thinking more sustainable, buying more sustainable. We love helping our clients get a wardrobe that they love, but then, thinking about purposely curating sustainable companies items, fabrics, and or having that timeless wardrobe that you take care of and may or may not have a few, better quality fast fashion pieces in, but you are taking more care of them. So now with that, just really uplifting
No,
intro,
I'm
ladies. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
watching the replay, feel free to pop in some comments. We'll revisit them on the next video that we do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awareness and visibility is
Yeah.
everything. And I promise you, the majority of people don't know the stats that you just shared,
Yeah.
right? Like the whole, when they put in the news, the whole landfill thing and how, things were washing up ashore. I mean, that was something I had never seen that. And then
Oh,
until you
really?
actually see it for yourself, I don't
Yep.
think you understand the gravity of what we're doing to the earth that we live in.
I know.
Like, we're
We
not,
haven't
we're
figured
not in
out
this
how to,
unlimited space,
move to Mars
Yes.
yet, and or another
Mhm.
planet that's trillions of light years away. We've won.
So yeah, there's a lot to take in there, but we all have to take personal accountability for
Yeah.
what's happening in our planet. I think no one can say they haven't seen global warming, right, or experienced it. Everything that we've gone through here in the U.S. and other countries, the fires,
Yep.
the very
Tornadoes, hurricanes.
it's
Seems like they're
hurricanes.
happening
Yeah,
more often.
it's snowing one place and then it's 105 degrees the other. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really crazy. There are a lot of things, but that's all due to human consumption,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the things that you discussed, and how we are not prioritizing not only our own health, right, potentially,
Yeah.
but then
Yep.
the health of our planet that we live on and
Yeah.
that we inhabit. So
Right.
yeah, very important things. So I hope that if you don't know anything about it, that you take some time to do the research for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and that you
Mm-hmm.
are choosing more sustainable choices in your clothing.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think, we have to be mindful of where we're getting our clothes from because, I'm in a Facebook group where it talks about like just shopping and where to shop and where to, dress more like high level, more feminine. And I see a lot of people putting in there Shein,
Yeah.
like constant. And I'm like,
You're
why are
kidding.
you promoting this
So
website?
horrible. Like
You
Shein
know?
and Temu, I'm sorry if y'all love it.
That's not
Audience, I'm
luxury.
sorry.
It's not
It's not shopping
luxury.
like a billionaire. It needs to
No.
go.
No.
It needs
But
to go.
it's the
Like they put
pressure, I
lead in
think.
some of their clothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's the pressure, right? To constantly keep up. It's this pressure to like constantly like look good or constantly look, have a new outfit on your feed, on your Instagram. I mean, all of this, right, feeds into each other. And I think that constant like, oh, what's on trend, like I
Right.
see that a lot
Right.
too. And
The shopping
people
haul
always want to know,
videos.
yeah, like
Mhm.
what's on trend. And I'm
What
like,
do they do
I
with all
actually
those clothes?
I
agree
know.
with you,
I
but
know.
I don't think that you really should be paying attention to trends as much as you think you should because trends
Nope.
fade. Trends
Right.
are here nor there. One season it's in, the next the
That's right.
barrel jeans are in, then they're not, then
Yeah.
this color's in, then it's not. Like don't shop trends because if you do, or maybe you buy one thing because you're like, I really like that thing. I'm not saying don't ever, but I just think like you don't have to pay attention to that so much because
Yeah.
it'd be endless. It'll be endless
Right.
cycle of buying what's on trend. And then,
Mhm.
I mean, it's all over, Instagram, it's in our face on YouTube and
Right.
TikTok. And I mean, even I start to feel the pressure like, oh my gosh, I'm, a style image expert. I need to know, and I need to buy these things and I
Right.
need to keep up the image. And I
Be on
feel the
trend,
pressure
yeah.
too. And I'm like, no, because that's not what I promote. I had
Right.
to work in an industry as a fashion designer. I had to constantly worry what was on trend. I had to constantly know. I had to constantly shop the stores. I always was out there. What's on trend? What are these brands? So that we could offer something similar because that's what people buy. I mean, I had to do that for 15 years. I don't
Right.
think that I want to have that same pressure, especially for my clients. You do not
Yeah.
need to be worrying so much because
No.
it's not about the trend. It's about
Right.
styling yourself as a brand. And in that way, you
Right.
really only need
Right.
key core pieces, right?
Less
You
Right.
only
is
And
need
was
more.
it
certain
Chanel
things.
or was it Lagerfeld? I feel horrible. I should know this. But like fashion and trends will come and go, but style is timeless and will
Right.
never ever go out of
Timeless and classic.
style.
Right.
That's
Like,
right.
you know, so many pieces, like the blazer, the suit was
Right.
created in, I believe, the late 1700s, like by Brumel, like hasn't changed too much. Like it has, you know, notch collar, peak lapel, blah 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 blah, like a few different variations, but it's not changing. Trench coat, made for trenches. Unfortunately, you know, war gave us a lot of clothing from the 40s, you know, bomber jackets, trench coats, you know,
Yep.
the pea coat, the Breton stripe, like,
Yeah.
and then motorcycle jackets, you know, Marlon Brando wore it once and it was, you know, everybody loved it, needed to have it. Now it's timeless. And there's so many pieces that
Right.
like
Yeah.
you can have in your wardrobe and buy that will never go out of style.
Exactly. And you can work in your wardrobe around those timeless pieces no
Right.
matter what. Like I just designed a three-piece suit with my client yesterday.
Love that.
Yeah, we did something that made sense for her, but it's just
Yep.
a navy three-piece suit. And she's going to have those pieces. They're going
Forever.
to be
Yeah.
so well made because
Yep.
they're custom to fit her that she can have them forever. And she can wear the blazer on its own. She can wear the pants on their own with something else. She can wear the vest and she can mix them all together. So to me, that's about being versatile. You're not buying one suit and wearing it one way. No, you're buying one suit and you're wearing a multitude of ways.
Exactly.
And that
Yeah,
makes so much more sense.
Like one three-piece suit, male or female, can give you like a small capsule wardrobe in and of itself.
And we all promote that, you know, we all
Yes.
promote that because we've done a show on it before, how you can have 9 pieces and 27 different combinations, and how that really illustrates that it's not about the quantity,
it's about
the quality and the ability to understand how versatile those pieces are, how you can mix and match, how you can wear it. You do not have to wear the same outfit every day with the right clothing.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're somebody who feels like you like to shop continuously because you don't like to wear the same thing
have
over and
FOMO.
over, that's really a lack of knowing how to, number one, align those pieces with your personal brand. And then number two, how to style it, So those are simple, those are tools that you can learn and that will help you to show up really sharp. But it's, you know, sustainable is the way.
Right. Having that curated closet, investment pieces that you take care of and don't go out of style and that you can utilize so easily, you know, down to having like the right hangers so that, you know, on like t-shirts and stuff, you don't get something like this. Granted, this is, you know, a blazer, but you don't get that pop on your, you know, t-shirts and whatnot. And, you know, taking care of it, having a beautiful closet that you can shop your closet. So if you do see something on Pinterest, in life, movies, TV, etc., you can look at it and shop your closet and be like, what do I have that's so similar, or, you know, a similar vibe that you can go off of that. And like just having that very purposeful, sustainable closet is great. And so I'd love to segue, unless one of you ladies has more thoughts on that. Awesome. Talking about fabrics, like obviously sustainability goes hand in hand with buying, you know, natural fabrics, aka your linens, your 100% cottons, your wools. You know, you can do a wool blend of like silk and wool to give it like a little bit of different, you know, fluidity to it. But you know, having those fabrics, and if you, again, because I love fashion history, go back in the day and you look at, you know, so many persons, especially, you know, the Renaissance and the medieval period of, you know, the petticoats and the corsets and the pantaliers, I think, or bloomers for gentlemen, you know, all of the undergarments that, you know, unfortunately, like they didn't have deodorant in those times. And so like those fibers would let your body breathe. And so that you had a ton of clothing on top of that, but because they were natural fibers, They let your body breathe. They would, catch the sweat if you did get warm, but those pieces would be washed and highly cared for. And then the outer garments would be, again, cared for, but not, had to be cleaned that often because those natural fibers, stand the test of time and are breathable. I love doing, like, for me, linen for so many of my clients in the summertime because, getting great pieces in linen, they're sustainable, breathable. You can wear a full, long sleeve linen shirt, gentlemen, ladies, and pants, and it's 95 degrees out, and you will feel cool because it has a natural air conditioning effect. So what are your ladies' thoughts on, the sustainability and the, fabric choices of that curated closet that you're thinking about doing?
Yeah, I mean, synthetic fibers are
horrible,
easy to wash. I think that's why one of the but I think that's why one of the reasons why people buy them is because it's cheaper and they're easy to wash, and also because people are not educating themselves. Because what happens is most of these, just when you walk into a store, you just assume a brand that you're familiar with or you think is like a nice quality. You automatically think like, oh, this is a better quality fabric, but a lot of times it's not, because they had to cheapen things, and they need to cheapen it. And the first thing they cheapen is the fabric. That's the first thing. I mean, me as a designer, I can tell you that's exactly what we did.
Big
it was
time.
Like, you want to cheapen this? I can't take a sleeve off of a shirt, okay? But I can cheapen the fabric. And that was the quick fix. Yeah.
Synthetic fibers equals more plastic, equals plastic in your washing machine, back into, what we're eating.
Yeah. But how many people are actually looking at that? How many times do you look at the tag and assess, the fabric, unless you're allergic to something or that, you don't like to wear it. But I think that's another piece of the sustainability that people have to learn for themselves. It's like, go look in your closet, pull your tags, see what things are made of, right? I think a lot of people just don't, it's lack of awareness and visibility into these things. And so when you know better, you do better. You can make better choices. You can be more intentional, right? And you can even be more comfortable. My husband just bought a whole, array of colors in linen, right? Because he loves the linen. Like you said, when we go to concerts in the summer, he feels cool, but he still looks nice, and all that kind of stuff. So find those fabrics that feel good on, but also wear well. And as long as you maintain them well, launder them correctly, don't throw them in the dryer, let them air dry and different things like that. You can, sustain your clothing so that, you're getting, you're maintaining the quality that you're investing. So.
Yep, exactly.
And also, just women of a certain age, we are all in our late 40s, and we're going to go through the changes, right? Of,
no, there's no changes.
Menopause,
no changes.
And I got to bring it up.
It's not happening.
Our body reacts different to things. It's reacting different to the type of fibers I put on, the metals I put on with my jewelry. Like, I just cannot wear the things that I used to be able to wear. The synthetics are not breathable, and I don't want to have hot flashes, and then this synthetic fiber is making it worse, So
it just holds everything in.
It holds it in, and it's not comfortable. And so you need to be thinking about that too. And also just, pay attention what the tags are, just because it's brand that you have been shopping forever and you think it's great doesn't mean that it's going to withhold its standards, because we all have to cheapen things. And I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. And you should be thinking of it as the same way as you think about putting the food in your body. Are you reading the labels of the food? Are you reading those labels? You should be reading your fabric labels, because if you're that person that reads every label and says, I know, and it's got to be grain-free and gluten-free and can't have this stuff in it, then you're also looking at your clothing labels.
No, that's a great point you make, because I know there are people who are, they're assessing their paper products, right? They don't want to use anything, toilet paper and different things like that, but they don't care what they wear. So it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so we just need to be more vigilant about all the things that we're putting on, that we're ingesting all of
That's
those things, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And then we could, talk about the ROI and the cost per wear of buying sustainable, of like, yes, upfront, it's going to be more expensive. It just is.
It's
But-
a trade-off. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You're getting quality, you're getting natural fiber. And from what we've talked about so many times before, is that you can, as a person trying to make any of these changes, get behind a brand and feel good about purchasing from that brand because it is trying to, do something different, be something different. And, thinking about, I might have to pay a little bit more. And then we're all on the, now made in America, which will take a wee bit of time to move and shake that completely. But, investing up front, it's going to cost more, but they're going to stay in your closet so much longer. And having, a great closet of basics and a few, statement pieces, and then with your accessories that are investment pieces that they aren't going to be needing to be replaced that often because of legit wear and tear. And, the way that they wash is going to be different. You're going to, be able to shop your closet differently and make so many looks with all of those pieces. And so then your upfront investment will change completely because the cost per wear will end up paying for itself. And then the ROI that you feel, and then, as we've all talked about before, the mindset shift and better quality clothing, especially, tailored, better quality, the whole nine, feels better. Feels different, will look better on your body. And it's so like small, big investment up front, but long-term, so much better. You save so much money.
Long-term benefits. Not to mention the compliments you'll get, right?
The compliments, because you're going to look like $1 million. But so let's wrap it up here, ladies. If there's anything else you want to add, then we can do that, but we'll wrap it up here.
I'd love to give 2 quick bits for places to shop. Eileen Fisher is a great sustainable brand. Reformation has a lot of bits that are sustainable, but I'd love to give a shout out to Stella McCartney. Bigger price point, understand, but her company really, really, really is leading the way in a lot of sustainability practices.
I also would say, hey, you know what? If you want to shop sustainable, why not go to the thrift store? Go to the consignment store. I love finding hidden treasures at consignment stores, thrift shops. Even like Poshmark. I know a lot of
Poshmark, McCarty,
even doing a swap with your friends. Right? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's right.
Make sure that it's gently used and well maintained. It might not be for you anymore, but maybe somebody else.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I've even sold stuff just because, I had it for a long time. I took good care of it, but I don't want to wear it anymore. And then I've sold stuff on these other websites. So I do it myself. I think it's a good way to find new things. I've bought a ton of stuff at consignment stores and, and if you want to, I actually do donate some of my clients' things and myself to a company here called Housing Works, which it actually does support the LGBTQ community and also AIDS and HIV research. And so I actually really like supporting them. And they have great stores all around the city, from furniture to clothing to like small things for your home. So that's a great resource because they will take all your gently worn things and resell them for you. And you feel like you've got a nice tax credit. So therefore it's a good trade-off. But let's end it here. This was a great conversation. Styling with purpose and helping you be a little more sustainable, but yet look sharp with your wardrobe. So we definitely would love your comments and questions. Feel free to drop those. We'd love to hear from you. And
some sustainable brands, share them so that
others that we haven't mentioned. Please share.
We'd love to hear. So until next time.